Rogers is a third grader who lives in Brentwood. He loves cars and Legos. He's smack dab in the middle of three sisters, and he's living with an inoperable brain tumor.
So we have four kids. Luca is our oldest. She is 13. We have Selah, who is 11. Nash, who is 8. And Greta is our baby, who is 6.
Nash is an 8-year-old boy. He's pretty quiet, pretty mild-mannered. Just as happy to sit down and watch an iPad or ride his bicycle. Not a wild kid. And I'd say about the month before Christmas, we noticed he had some balance issues and kept falling over. And that's when we took him to the doctor and then ended up at Children's with this diagnosis.
The devastating diagnosis, diffuse intrinsic pontine glioma, or DIPG, highly aggressive and difficult to treat brain tumors found at the base of the brain.
Think of like poison ivy wrapped around a tree. That's what that tumor is doing to his nerves. That strangulation is what's causing them to not function. So.
Most cases of DIPG occur between 5 and 7 years of age. And sadly, fewer than 10% of children survive 2 years from diagnosis.
I would say we focus on keeping him happy, keeping him busy, and then also his care at the same time. I mean, we're juggling doctor's appointments and schedule and treatments and, so just kind of managing that while still giving him somewhat of a normal life.
There are not a lot of treatment options for DIPG. Nash underwent radiation to try and shrink the tumor, and now he's participating in a clinical trial through the Jimmy Fund.
The trial may help Nash, but most likely it's going to help somebody else in the future.
These kids, the prognosis, unfortunately, is they're going to succumb to this disease on average within a year of diagnosis. So every year, 400 kids could be getting diagnosed and paddling away. And not enough funding is out there to adequately start trials, develop new treatments, prolong the inevitable. That's the biggest goal, is keep these kids here longer.
Right now, the Rogers family is focused on living in the moment and keeping Nash happy, which these days involves
Legos. It's been a nice outlet for him. He really can't walk on his own anymore. Fine motor skills are lacking, but Lego is something he can still be involved in. He may not be able to necessarily put the pieces together, but he can absolutely correct you when you are putting the pieces together wrong.
The Rogers family has a supportive community of friends and family rallying around them. They even had a car show at the New England Dragway to put a smile on Nash's face and to help raise awareness for DIPG.
Well, first off, he's named after Nash, the car company, right? I thought that was neat. Yeah. See a car show, take him to a car show. It was just always something that we did. It was something we did together, So what better way than to have a car show?
Go Nash! Go Nash! Yeah! At the Bash for Nash event, Nash and Evan Austin got to meet each other in person. Evan is another DIPG warrior who lives right down the road in Hampton, New Hampshire.
So Evan is a pretty amazing kid. He's really happy. He's very laid back and very chill. He always has been. But he loves Star Wars. He loves Legos. He loves baseball. Just really anything that most seven-year-old little boys like.
Evan was diagnosed with DIPG when he was 5.5, after his parents noticed he was talking in his sleep and having balance issues.
Nobody should be told that your child has cancer and there's nothing that we can do about it. It's been really hard because he's such a happy kid that we don't want to really let him know what the prognosis is, you know. But he does know that he has a brain tumor. He knows he has cancer. Like, there's no way around that. But, you know, he's just kind of living his best life every day.
Evan has undergone radiation twice to help shrink the size of his tumor. And his parents have also tried a variety of other therapies, from a ketogenic diet to medical cannabis and hyperbaric oxygen sessions.
So we know that there's not a magic bullet out there, but we kind of just, you know, are willing to try anything like any parent would, and kind of see these as like tools in a toolbox more than, you know, individually on their own, something that's going to cure him, because we know that's not. We also hope that our story will offer some other families a little bit of hope. You know, we were given such a small window of time when he was first diagnosed that we never thought he would still be here at this point. So hopefully we can offer some families some hope for a little bit more time than they originally thought.
The Austins and the Rogers hope that together they can raise awareness and funding to help find a cure for DIPG. They want to help improve the path for future families who will walk in their shoes.
The resilience of children overall amazes me. I mean, does Nash love the condition he's in? No, he does not. But does he just get up every day and be positive and have a good day? He really does. And I see this with the other children there, the children that we, you know, have seen at the hospital, we see at the Jimmy Fallon Clinic. These kids amaze me.